Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. This is your morning brew. We're back in the studio this morning. A bit of work being done outside at the moment, so can't use the garden. Would love to. It's a cracking day out there again. But let's get into some of this news overnight. Some interesting stuff coming out overnight. Of course, Croatia stunning Netherlands, the hosts in the National League semi-final, reaching the final. They are Modric and Pekovic in extra time, winning 4-2, awaiting the winners of Italy or Spain today. Let's see what happens there, but absolutely fantastic. Bit of transfer news. Nicolo Barella to Newcastle. 50 million was the bid, apparently, that was lodged, but Inter have refuted the story and the fee, saying that it's not even close to the valuation on the player. We kind of suspected that, because I would imagine if Nicolo Barella was available for 50 million, Liverpool would be at the front end of that. Chelsea have rejected a 40 million bid from Man United for Mason Mount. They're valuing the player at 60, 70, maybe even 80 million. So 40 million is not going to get it done. Sounds like United were testing the water there. They kind of know what the valuation of the player is. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is it value for money? I don't think it is. Very happy that Liverpool have distanced themselves from Mason Mount, to be honest. I just think it's way too expensive for a player entering the final year of his contract. But we know the pressure that Chelsea are under at the moment in terms of money coming in and wages and the 600 million they spent last year and all that. They need to really align their books and stuff like that. A bloated loan book and stuff like that as well. I was talking about it last night with Ian. But big challenge there for those guys. Mbappe looks like he's set to see out his contract at PSG and leave next summer on a free. No doubt PSG would probably want to force a move through now and try and realise the valuation of the player. Apparently valued at somewhere in the region of 150 million euro. Is there a situation where Mbappe leaves PSG on a free? That would be a right kicker for them. But are Real Madrid in a position this season to take on such a huge transfer? I can only see Real Madrid being in this deal. I cannot see anyone else. Mbappe on something like 1.6 million a week in wages as well, something crazy. So I can't see even the wealthiest of Premier League clubs putting that on their books. PSG have made contact with Crystal Palace as well over Wilfried Zaha. We heard about this story a couple of weeks ago as well. Could Wilfried Zaha be the guy to come in and replace Mbappe? Not necessarily like for like, but we know how good Zaha can be and we know what he can do. Golf went on a madness last night on the eve of the US Open. US golfers Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are looking to invest in Leeds United as part of the 49ers Enterprises agreement for a 100% takeover of the club. Interesting, the boys in golf getting involved in football. Maybe they're saying Reynolds down at Wrexham balling it out and stuff like that, and they want a piece of that, so let's see what happens. But it could be a big time for Leeds at the moment. We're also hearing the boy Tyler Adams being linked with a move away, but I can't say it was linked to Liverpool, but I don't see that happening either. But could be on the back of a very disappointing season of getting relegated back into the Championship. Could be exciting time for Leeds with this buyout and these guys getting involved. These are all serial winners and stuff like that, so that's the kind of people you need around your club and stuff like that. So let's see what happens. Talk coming out this morning, Manchester United in a bit of a bind over who to purchase up front. It looks like they're not going to meet the 100 million asking price for Harry Kane. No surprise there. Wonderful player, absolute baller, goal scorer, the whole lot. Will be brilliant for Man United, but 100 million and dealing with Spurs and Levy just seems too far a stretch for them. They're also being priced out of that move, 120 million for Victor Osimhen. Massive money that Napoli are looking for this boy as well. Had a fantastic season winning Serie A. Fell away a little bit disappointed in the Champions League. They were certainly one of my tips to go all the way in the Champions League, at least to the final anyway, and it would have been fantastic to see if it had been Napoli versus Man City in the final, but sure, didn't happen. But don't know, this is huge money for forward players that people are looking for at the moment, and they may have to take a look elsewhere and see what happens. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp kind of sweating over Mo Salah, taking a risk at the moment in terms of the AFCON coming up this season as well. We're going to lose Mo Salah for the guts of a month at least, and what impact that would have on the season, stuff like that. We know the fixtures have come out this morning. I think so far in January we're penciled in for Bournemouth, I think, is it Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home are the two Premier League fixtures. Obviously there'll be cup fixtures in there as well. Who knows when the draw comes out for that what will happen, but we'll see. But so far I think if it's Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home, we probably have enough of a mix up front to deal with that. But certainly this might be something that lights a fire under the Federico Chiesa link, so let's see what happens there. Chelsea are looking to sign Andre Onana. Of course, we know they're in the market for a goalkeeper. Talk coming out the other day that Kepa's probably going to be the number one. I'm not sure whether that's a good decision or not. I think if you're putting that out there in the ether and you're trying to sign a goalkeeper like Onana, he's not going to be wanting to coming in anywhere as a number two. He's a top quality goalkeeper at Inter. They were also looking at the boy Mannion at AC Milan as well. But if you're putting out that Kepa's going to be your number one keeper next season, then it's very, very difficult to get a top quality keeper in the door. Then they're not going to want to walk in as a number two. Talk as well that they're trying to link the deal to either Trevor Chalobah, Koulibaly or Romelu Lukaku. We know Romelu's already there on loan, stuff like that, and that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle at Chelsea that needs to be resolved this summer. They need to get Lukaku off the books. He's happy at Inter, he's there at Inter. Would Inter be able to do some sort of a deal for Lukaku plus cash? Or maybe another player, maybe, who knows, for Onana. But certainly Chelsea need to work on that goalkeeping situation, and they are. Leeds United, Leicester and Burnley could hand Everton a legal bill, multi-million-pound legal bill. This is coming on the back of the FFP charges that have come out where they were challenged on it. And the Premier League as well got involved and said that, it's only 105 million over a 3-year period. But Everton have come out posting losses of 371 million. And I think when Leeds, Leicester and Burnley challenged it at the time, they were told that no, everything was in order. And it sounds like that it wasn't in order. So there's a massive legal bill there at the moment in terms of this challenge. And I'm sure these teams will be looking to get compensated. So more bad news for Everton, really. And I think there could be more bad news coming as well from a financial point of view. It's a real difficult position on a bind that we're in, both with some of their finances being leaked to Usmanov. But let's see what happens there. The Premier League fixtures came out, so we're going to be taking a look at them in a few minutes, folks. So it'll be fairly easy. Fans will be planning their travel now, picking their fixtures. Dino was already on to me this morning to pick out 3 or 4 matches we could potentially go to. He's going to try and organise tickets for that. But yeah, we'll be looking, of course, I just mentioned Liverpool with the AFCON and stuff like that. A whole plethora of Premier League teams affected by the AFCON every couple of years when it comes up and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at that as we get closer to it and see how exposed the teams are. And of course, we always follow the AFCON for you on the channel as well. Myself and Darren, we had a lot of fun doing it there about a year ago. It was great crack. Real Madrid, of course, complete the signing of Jude Bellingham. 85.5 million, potentially raising to 115 million, making him the most expensive British transfer, but 400k a week. So when you think about it, we were never really in the ballpark. We were told that the transfer wasn't potentially about money, but we know well it's always about money. But 400k a week was never going to be in Liverpool's circle. So it's probably best that he went to Real Madrid. We wish him well. Hope he does really well at Real Madrid, and sure, we'll go about our business in a different way, which is a little bit concerning. I am going to be doing a show at 2 o'clock today. We're going to be chatting about Liverpool, transfers, latest news, all that kind of stuff. So we'll give you an update at 2 o'clock for all things Liverpool. Arsenal linked with a move for Kai Havertz. Let me know your thoughts on this, Gunners fans. This is a kind of a very, very strange one. I'm not sure what Kai Havertz really resolves in terms of what Arsenal are trying to do. They're looking for an upfront guy there who could, potentially give you 20-25 goals a season and stuff like that. If you look at Kai Havertz, I think it's 19 goals in 91 appearances. So certainly doesn't give you that. He's going to be expensive. He's not going to be cheap. 2 years still to go on his contract. But also, the one thing he probably does bring is a little bit of versatility. He can drop into midfield if needed. He can play across the front line. He can play just behind it and stuff like that. So you'll get that versatility. You're also getting a player in who's a winner as well. If you remember, he scored the winning goal in the Champions League and stuff like that. So he is a winner. Hasn't really hit the potential at all that we know that's there. He's still young enough at 24 to move into his prime and stuff like that. Could Arteta unlock the Kai Havertz that we seen originally in the Bundesliga? I'm not too sure. Really struggled this season, as so many Chelsea players did. but we know what the boy on his day is capable of, but we haven't seen it for a while, so I'm not sure if this is the right move for Arsenal. But let's see what happens there. We'll keep an eye on it. And of course, my favourite person on the planet, Richarlison. Tottenham forward Richarlison says it would be a dream to one day be reunited with Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid. This guy is just poison, isn't he? He's just like, you know what I mean? He's gone to Tottenham there, huge money, huge wage, you know, and done nothing. Done absolutely nothing. And he's already talking about how his dream move would be somewhere else. Unbelievable from this lad. I just have no time for him at all. Let's take a look at the opening week fixtures. God, that's nearly blinding me there. Opening week we have, or the opening weekend, if you like, on Friday the 11th. It kicks off with Burnley versus Man City as your 8 o'clock game on the Friday. Saturday the lunchtime is Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. That'll be a real good game. Bournemouth West Ham, Brighton Luton, Everton Fulham, Sheffield United Crystal Palace, Newcastle Aston Villa, the tasty 5:30 on the evening game. And then Sunday the 2 o'clock game, Brentford versus Spurs. And your first Super Sunday this season sees Chelsea versus Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. And your Monday night football, of course, 8 o'clock, Man United versus Wolves. So some tasty fixtures in there for the opening weekend. And if you look at the final day, we skip a whole year ahead to the final day of the season. Feels like it was only last week the season ended. It was crazy. The final day of the season, Arsenal versus Everton, Brentford Newcastle, Brighton Man United, that's a tasty one. Burnley Nottingham Forest, Chelsea Bournemouth, Palace Villa, Liverpool Wolves, never an easy fixture. Luton versus Fulham, another London derby. Man City versus West Ham, and Sheffield United versus Spurs rounds out your final day of the season. I am back tonight as well, folks, at 9 o'clock with Darren. We're going to be talking about the two trebles. We're going to be discussing the fixtures. We're going to be discussing all the latest transfer news. So let us know your thoughts down in the comment. Of course, subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit a like on the video as well. This has been your morning brew. Slightly later than normal. Had a bit of work to get through this morning and stuff like that. Hope you're enjoying the morning shows. As I said, we'll be back tonight. Fixtures, transfer news, comparing the trebles, and anything you want to talk about. So if you're in the chat or you want to come on and ask us anything, feel free. Myself and Dazzler will be back on your screens tonight. Cheers, folks.